I'm very interested to hear who, like, maybe early in your career and now later in your career, you've gotten the ring with, and you're like, oh shit, like them, like when like they just blow your mind, like maybe early in your career and then later when you're more established and you know a lot more.
Early in my career, I don't remember a time where I was like blown away, but I remember a time where I knew I was in over my head, and it was me versus Colt Cabana one day for IWA Mid South, and Ian Rotten was just like feeding me ROH guys because he knew I was obsessed with Ring of Honor,
Yeah.
and he was feeding me like Jimmy Jacobs. He fed me, oh, not fed me, but he gave me Tyler Black, and then he gave me Colt Cabana and some other guys. And when I wrestled Colt Cabana, I remember him in there, and I think I messed something up maybe, and he put me like in a trap hold, and I remember him mumbling something like, "All right now, kid," or something like that, and I was just like, "All right, I just need to sit here and listen to what he wants me to do." And so I remember just feeling so intimidated, and I would really love to wrestle him again because I think I'm a lot better than I was then. Um, but that's the first thing I can remember. More recently, though, I told my wife about it, and she looks at me and goes, "Okay, stop marking out now." But I wrestled Davey Richards, and
Okay.
I was a huge Davey Richards fan, of course,
At
a while
Warrior,
back, just
right?
because of his Warrior Wrestling, yeah. Um, for years, I was a Davey Richards fan, and I wrestled him before, but it was a much smaller show, and I was like, you know, not as experienced as I am now.
Yeah.
And this show, I remember we started talking about other stuff. And then by the time we knew it, we had like, 15 minutes before we went out. And so we started to talk a little bit more, kind of rushed it. Before we went out, he was like, "Don't worry about it. Let's just call it a day." And I was like, "Okay." And so this particular time, I really wanted to learn because I was like, I know there's more wrestling stuff that I need to learn. I just don't know what it is yet. So I need to just take the back seat all the time. And I didn't tell Davey this. And so I went in the ring. So he just thought I thought that we were just gonna like go back and forth. I went out there and it blew my mind how he led me through a match.
It's
Like,
it's amazing. Like he took
sorry.
4 years off. He took 4 years off, and he's like, "Let's just call it in the ring." And before that, like occasionally he'd take like a year off, even before that. So
Okay.
it's wild. Like he's just hopping back in there. We'll call it in the ring. That's
And
amazing.
he did. He called the way he told me how to sell. He told me when to fire up. He told me he was like I was like literally in the passenger seat, seatbelt on, passed out, and he just did everything. Literally, he held my hand through everything. And he was intense and still kicking my ass while he was doing it. It was
That's
amazing. And
amazing.
I think I told all of my closest friends, I've told them the story about me wrestling David Richards and how amazing it was to work him and how like professional he was and how much I learned in the match. Like the key thing I learned was intensity that I don't think I possessed before the David Richards match. So I think if you pay attention to my matches before and watch my matches after the Davey Richards match, I think you'll see a big difference in the matches.
So how did that compare to the first time you faced him? Because I think that was like in Beyond way back in the day, like maybe 8 years
Yeah,
ago. Like how
yeah.
did that stack up for you? Like as far as physicality, psychology, any of that? Was he like that back then too, or was he a little more reserved?
I think he was like that back then, but I was so into like trying to prove
Yeah.
myself and to other people that I don't think I was paying attention to anything else. I had tunnel vision, and I was like, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this." And in my mind, I was like, "I got to do this." I just kept my nose down and I was grinding. Now I have my head kind of up and it's like, I need to learn as much as I can right now because I feel myself getting pushed into a certain position. Is like, am I ready for these positions that I'm getting pushed into? I don't think I am, so I need to listen and like learn more right now. And Davey taught me so much within those 17 minutes of being in the ring with him. Like it's amazing.
That's
He's
fantastic.
amazing.